This is Dr. A. Rajeshwari, Associate Professor, uh, St. Jude's College, Tutu, Kanyakumari District, Tamil Nadu. The topic which I am going to explain today is Thomas Hardy as a novelist with a special reference to the Mayor of Casterbridge. Thomas Hardy occupies a very high place in the English fiction, but he could not make a good beginning. The Poor Man and the Lady, published in 1868, was a failure. And the next work, The Desperate Remedies, in 1871, appeared without his name. But after this publication, he became popular with the succeeding novels. And he has published a lot of novels, which I don't give a list of his novels. And coming to the topic, the first, how he had become an excellent novelist, the characteristic features, his plot construction. Hardy is admittedly one of the greatest masters of plot construction in the history of English fiction. He combines the threads of the old and the new trends in himself. His ideas are modern, but his techniques and plot construction belongs to the old school. He has followed the old convention of the English novel, started by Fielding and later developed by Scott. The plot of Hardy's novels are compact and well knit. The plot construction of Thomas Hardy has beautifully coordinated all events and incidents. Like a clever mason, he builds the structure of his novels brick by brick. Another important feature to become as an excellent novelist is his selection of theme. Love is the favorite theme of Hardy. All his novels deal with the eternal triangle. Either there is a lady who is loved by two men or a man loved by two ladies. In The Mayor of Casterbridge, although there is eternal triangle, it is more complicated. Lucetta is loved by Henchard and Farfrae. Susan, when she returns to Henchard, is claimed by Newson, to whom Henchard had sold her in the very beginning of the novel. Similarly, Elizabeth Jane is married to Farfrae and Henchard's foil in every sphere. But in spite of this apparent complexity of the plot, there is a real symmetry in arrangement of events, and the plot of the novel can be summed up in a few sentences. Henchard auctions away his wife Susan to Newson. He raises to the highest pinnacle of fame and glory. There comes Farfrae in his life. He proves a foil to Henchard in everything. He meets Lucetta, who later on dotes on. Henchard's wife returns, and he is again reduced to insignificance. And Hardy, next point is Hardy excelled in his creative and poetic imagination. A study of the great novels of Thomas Hardy clearly reveals to us that Hardy had creative and poetic imagination. It is this power of imagination that impresses his readers most and helps him in presenting a picture of life which is not only realistic in detail but is essentially true. He shows a unique combination of fantasy and reality. His imagination is unfailingly fresh, unforced, fertile in expression, and of the highest power. His pictures are colored by his imagination. He changes the appearance of things only to bring out their essential reality. The ghastly Skimity ride, for example, in The Mayor of Casterbridge, is a good proof of this quality of Hardy. Next, his quality of art of characterization. Hardy's unique power of characterization has added a great charm to all his novels, most of which are tragedies, describing the rise to fortune of a particular person and then his pathetic fall. But unlike Shakespeare, he draws his characters from lower walks of life. He has presented only men of simple nature. Theirs is peasant like simplicity. They are not the complex characters of modern city. His women are far better than his men. His male characters, though more grand and impressive in tragic circumstances, stand no comparison with his feminine characters. He lays stress on their emotional life and is concerned with their hearts rather with their heads. He discovers the grandeur of their souls and reveals their spiritual crisis. He cannot draw a superficial he cannot draw a superficial person. Even his rustics feel strongly and passionately. He presents his characters in relation to their circumstances. Most of them, it appears, are born to suffer. He has not given a single character who does not suffer. And next feature is his conception of tragedy. Most of Hardy's novels are tragedies, but his is the soul's tragedy, which appeals to our heart. It is not brought about by the deeds of the sufferer. His characters suffer for no faults of theirs. Not only in this respect, but also in choosing his characters, he differs from Shakespeare. Hardy's tragic characters are rustics and not kings and princes. Tess is a milkmaid, Henchard is a hairdresser, Jude is a stonemason, and Gabriel Oak is a shepherd. And how he has treated his nature. Nature plays a prominent role in most of his novels. Before Hardy's nature, it has become a very good part of English novel, but only in the background. It was Hardy who brought it into the shape of a character. It is not just the background in his drama, but a leading character. Sometimes it exercises an active influence on the course of events. More often, it is the spiritual agent, coloring the mood and shaping the disposition of human beings. But his attitude to nature was not Wordsworthian. He found no holy plan or healing touch in nature. Another important characteristic feature as a novelist is philosophy of life. Hardy has his definite philosophy of life, which he expressed in his novels. To him, man is nothing but a spot of an indifferent destiny made to suffer long. He contrives to achieve happiness, but in vain. His words: happiness is but an occasional episode in the general drama of pain, which he gives in the end of his novel, The Mayor of Casterbridge, clearly explains his general outlook towards life. And he has a specific style. The characteristic or the beautiful style which he has written is of his own. And in the words of Casamian, beauty springs here from the powerful concentration, the economy of words, the severe choice of epithets and images, from a vocabulary rough and singularly rich in associates through a large number of old Saxon roots and the words racy of the soil. And to come to the conclusion, from all the above points which I have given of Hardy, he has given a new philosophical element to the novel. He believed that novel is not merely a picture of life, but an impression of life. Thank you.